All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We'll give you an opportunity to come on. I'm a little early this morning because of all of the running around I'm going to do today. But I just wanted to come on because I have a conversation that I want to have with you. I have a candid conversation that I want to have with you, and I think it is overdue. And I'm excited about it. So I want you to come on for a second, and we're gonna take our time today. We're gonna take our time because I really want to make sure that you get all of this. So happy Friday. It's a great morning. It's a great morning. I'm out on the deck, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna rain or whatever, but I just like being out here. So I want to come on for a minute and just encourage you. This I know already is not for everybody, but it is for enough people. It's for enough people, and I really want you to process what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so let's have our candid conversation. Let somebody know that I'm on a little bit early, and if you can't come on, just check us out a little bit later. Amen. This morning I am on an assignment, and I need you to listen, digest, and share. Listen, digest, and share. This candid conversation is directed towards the weary, the tired, the discouraged parent. I'm going to say that again. The weary, the tired, and discouraged parents who may be struggling and questioning, where did I even go wrong? If you are a parent, you know what, you may not feel this way right now, but at some point in your time of parenting your children, even when they're adults, the enemy is going to throw some seeds of doubt in your head, and you're going to say, where in the world did I go wrong? It's a lot of parents who are seriously wondering, did my child get anything positive that I tried to deposit in their life? I know I ain't by myself. You can get to the place where you say, Lord, I know I wasn't perfect. I know I didn't do everything. I know their childhood wasn't picture perfect. We were not the Brady Bunch. We were not the Huxtables. We were not whatever. But did my child get anything that I tried to deposit in their lives? And I want to really expose the enemy right now. The devil wants you to beat yourself up, be discouraged, and come to a conclusion prematurely. He wants you to call the game early. And I came to tell you it's too early to call the game. You know that phrase is when they call the game, it's because the team is losing so bad. Let's just call the game. It ain't nowhere in the world we gonna win. It ain't nowhere in the world we gonna come back from this. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to your child, when it comes to the people that you poured into, don't call the game too early, because it ain't over. It ain't over. I said it ain't over. It ain't over. So I want to talk to you today because you can be discouraged and you can be in the question yourself, did my child get anything? Did my niece get anything? Did my nephew get anything? Whoever, did my godchild get anything? And the enemy is trying to get you to look at their now and say that they didn't get anything. You were totally unsuccessful in being able to help. I don't know if you all really look at the story in the prodigal son. The father in the prodigal son had some issues because his son left. Y'all get that? His son left, and his boy, from the story, it looks like he didn't get much. He asked his father for his portion. He left, and he spent his money on all of these wild things and everything. And from that standpoint, it looked like he didn't get much. I know the father had to be thinking, evidently, I didn't pour anything into this boy. If the father didn't do nothing else, the father taught the boy how to get back home. I don't know what the father taught him, what else he taught him, but he taught him how to get back home. The father understood that if I teach my child how to get back home, when he comes to himself, he will get back home. He will go back home. But the father also understood that he was not the only influence in his son's life. I need you to get this. I need you to get this. You are not the only influence in your daughter's life. You are not the only influence in your son's life. It doesn't matter. They still got to go to school. Their peers are teaching them. The neighbors are teaching them. Social media is teaching them. And you are not the only influence in their life. So all of their actions is not based on what you did or what you didn't do. The father in the story of the prodigal son didn't have to go looking for him, because he said, if I didn't teach that boy nothing else, I taught him how to make it home. I taught him how to go back to the basics. I taught him what stability looks like. I exposed him to the best that I could expose him to, and now the decision is up to him. And the father waited patiently because he knew that he couldn't teach him no more. The hogs had to teach him. I said life had to kick his butt, and the hogs had to teach him what he wouldn't learn from his father. I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this. Sometimes our children don't learn. Sometimes we don't learn. Life has to teach. You said it shouldn't have to be that way. No, it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have had to be that way for me either. But life had to teach me some things that I didn't think my mother knew what she was talking about. Life had to teach me some things that I didn't think my grandparents knew what they were talking about. And if the child won't listen to you, the hogs will teach him. The hogs will teach him until he comes to himself and says, wait a minute. I don't know nothing else. If I don't remember nothing else about my mama or nothing else about my daddy, they told me how to get out. They showed me how to get out. Jesus is the way out. Come on. Jesus is the way out. So I want to first of all help you to understand that the father in the story of the prodigal son, he didn't call the game. He didn't call the game. He continued to look. He continued to search. He continued to wait. He didn't search. He continued to wait on his son to come to himself. And I want you to continue to anticipate your child's turnaround. I want you to continue to anticipate your child having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I want you to trust in the fact that your God, if he's able to save you, which is the root, he's definitely able to save your fruit, okay? So your child may not be in a good place right now. And I want to talk about this because this is so exciting to me. He or she may not be in a good place right now, but you taught them what was right. Even if you taught them what not to do, you taught them what was right, and you taught them how to get back home and show them what better looks like. I just want you to put your hand up if you refuse to give up on your seed. If you refuse to give up on the next generation. If you refuse to give, so I flat out refuse. I flat out refuse to call the game. I flat out refuse to say they are beyond hope. I flat out refuse to believe that this is just a lost generation and it ain't no help for them. They said that about every generation before, but God is bigger. God is stronger. God can do it, and God can make the impact. Another thing that the father realized in this story is, even though, and I want you to grab this, you are not your child's only teacher. You are not your child's only teacher. And that's why it's too early to call the game. Why is this important? The devil wants you to call it quits because he is not concerned about your child's actions. He is concerned about you praying. He wants you to stop praying. And if you call the game, you'll stop praying. Even if you pray. If you pray and say she's a lost hope, You're contradicting your prayer. The enemy is more concerned about your praying. He don't want you to pray. He don't want you to intercede. He knows that if you stop praying, you will forfeit your child's future and the game will be over. But I'm telling you right now, the clock is still ticking. The clock is still running. I don't care. I don't care if she's dating the wrong person. I don't care if he's strung out. I don't care if they're doing some stuff that's buck wild. I don't care if they got some crazy friends. Your God is able to deliver. Come on, give me 3 hearts. Just give me. I said your God is able to deliver. He's able to sever them from ungodly relationships. He's able to convict them in the spaces that they're in that you're not even in with them. He is able to do it. Come on. And I want you to stay on the wall for your child. I want you to continue to intercede for your child. I know the world is crazy and cold, but your God is bigger than the world. And I'm telling you right now, the enemy wants you so discouraged that you say, I'm a failure as a mother. I'm a failure as a father. Evidently I didn't do any of that I was supposed to do. And I didn't put anything in them, but I'm exposing the enemy right now. I'm exposing the enemy right now. You were not perfect, but you were effective. Come on. Come on. You weren't perfect, but you were effective. So the devil wants you to stop praying. He wants you to stop interceding. He wants you to stop looking for God to do something miraculous. And I hear you. Conway, look. Conway. The son I'm talking about is 40. And I'm telling you I don't care. You said the daughter I'm talking about is 39 years old. And I'm telling you, I don't care. The son I'm talking about has been in rehab 7 different times. And I came to tell you, God don't care. I came to tell you that what you have instilled in your child is still in there somewhere. And as long as you keep on praying, as long as you keep on pulling, let me tell you, Lot never prayed to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. I wish you would mess with me. Lot never prayed to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. His uncle, who was outside of his situation, was interceding on his behalf. And it caused God to send heavenly escorts to pull him out of a situation that he was procrastinating in. Let me tell you something. Your prayer outside of the situation is more powerful than the prison that your child is in the situation. I'm telling you right now, your prayer can move heaven. I'm telling you, your declaration can move heaven. Your confession can move heaven. I'm excited right now because I know the power of prayer, and I know prayer changes things. And I'm telling you right now, God in his power if God can get Lot out of Sodom, if God can actually pick him up and put him out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot knew he was in trouble, but he was still procrastinating. But the power of Abraham's prayer, the power of Abraham's relationship with God, since Abraham was God's friend, he could call in a special request. Come on, you are God's friend. With your faith-filled self. You are God's friend. And because you are God's friend, you can cause God to send angels to pull your Lot out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Come on. Come on. I'm talking now. So it doesn't matter how old your child is. It doesn't matter how long they've been in it. It don't matter how discouraged you are or how many crazy decisions they've made. I'm telling you right now, don't count them out. Don't call the game too soon. Don't call the game too soon. Listen, in Genesis chapter 49, Jacob is on his deathbed. And he literally spoke ill and cursed 2 of his sons for some stupid decisions that they made when they were younger. Jacob was still angry at Levi for some decisions that he made. Jacob called the game. Jacob counted Levi out. But God used Levi and his family to be his designated priest. Where is your point? My point is, Jacob didn't see that there was any hope for his son Levi. But he didn't know that God was still going to use him. God is still going to use your baby. God is still going to use your baby. God is still forming your child's testimony. God is still helping your child understand who he is. God is still going to use your daughter. He's still going to use your son. He's still going to use your godson. He's still going to use your goddaughter. He's still going to use your niece. He's still going to use your nephew. He's still forming. He's still giving them stuff to talk about. He's still creating a ministry for them. Even right now, he is going to do it. Did you hear what I said? He is going to do it. And the enemy is trying to get you to say, look here, it's the fourth quarter. We down by 30 points. We might as well call the game. The clock's still going. The clock's still going. The clock's still going. You can't preach that he's a God of a second chance and a third chance and a fifth chance and 100th chance and then say your child is out of chances. The devil is a lie. Paul wasn't even believing in Jesus, but Jesus made it clear that, Paul, you got it wrong. I am who I say I am. And he converted him. My son don't even believe in God. My daughter walked away from the church. God knows how to get them on straight street. God knows how to knock them off their beast. God knows how to reveal to them that he really is the great I am. And this time they won't be listening to you or being persuaded by you. They will have revelation that he is the Messiah. He is the great I am. Let's move on. So Jacob was ready to give up on Levi, but the little did Jacob know that God was going to use Levi as his priest. God was going to use Levi as his priest. So I want to bring you back to where I actually started this thought. Paul in 2 Timothy is writing to a young preacher named Timothy. And Timothy is a minister. He is intimidated by his assignment. We see that his mother and his grandmother, on his mother's side, he's a Hebrew, he's a Jew. On his father's side, he is a Greek. We don't know what his father and them believe. We don't know if his father was in his life. We don't know any of those types of things. We just don't know. Paul said to Timothy, I know what was in your mama. I know what was in your grandmama, and I am persuaded that it's in you too. Timothy is saying, I don't know if I can do this. I think this is too hard for me. Life is kicking my butt. I feel insecure. And Paul says, I know what's in your mama. I know what was in your grandmama, and I am persuaded that it's in you too. Paul didn't even mention his father. Did you get that? Paul didn't mention his father. Paul is saying, I don't know about your father's side, but it's enough power on your mama's side. You inherited enough power, enough fight, enough focus, enough gifting, enough anointing on your mama's side to get the job done. You don't even need your father's side. It's enough on your mama's side. It's enough anointing on your mama's side. It's enough gifting on your mama's side. It's enough, come on, it's enough fight on your mama's side to get the job done. So Paul is saying it's in you. Would you do me a favor? I want you to think about somebody that you're concerned about and just say, it's in her. It's in him. Come on. It's in. He may be sleeping in the basement right now, high as a kite. But I want you to declare it's in him. I want you to declare it's in him. The one that's discouraged, the one that's depressed, the one that's suicidal. I want you to declare it right now. It's in him. Come on. At least somebody put it in there. Say, it's in him. It's in her. It's in her. She don't see it yet. He don't see it yet, but it's in there. Every conversation that I had, every time I had to discipline, it's in her. It's in him. The Bible studies that I made them go to, the Sunday school that I made them go to, the Christian movie that we sing, the gospel song, it's in them. I want you to declare it. It's in them. It's in her. It's in him. It's in her. Everything that God has said is in him. His word shall not return unto him void, but it will accomplish that which he sent it to do. If there's any word in your child, it's still there. It's still there. It's still there. It might be under the pain. It might be under the disappointment. It might be under a discouragement. It might be under lust. It might be under all kind of things, but it's in there. It's in there. So Paul says this. Paul says this. Paul says it's in you. It just needs to be stirred. I have this glass of water. Paul is saying, Timothy, Eunice, and Lois poured it in you. It's in you. Most of it is falling to the bottom, but it's in you. He says, God is going to use struggle to stir what was already in you. This lemonade is going to taste like lemonade from start to finish after the struggle is over. After the struggle is over, God uses struggle to stir. And I came to tell you right now that your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your godchild, whoever it is, all they need now is the struggle from the spoon to cause them to totally be what God has already called them to be. The struggle is necessary. The struggle causes the stirring. And once the stirring happens, everything that they lost, everything that they had left dormant at the bottom of their soul is going to come to fruition. It's going to come to pass. Now, I want to use this last little bit of time to speak not from a parent's perspective, but from a child's perspective. This was me. I disappointed my mother. I disappointed my father. I remember the hurt that was in their eyes from time to time. I suppressed what I knew was right. And I went left on purpose. I said I was done with God. I was done with church. I ain't sure if all this stuff is real. I'm going to do me. I'm going to live me and everything else. But what they had deposited in me could not be ignored. God used my struggle to stir up all of the things that I had suppressed. So I'm using this as an example and as a testimony that if God could help me, I know God can help your child. If God can deliver me, I know he can deliver your child. They act like they don't hear you, but it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. If you remember, this looked clear at first. But now this glass cannot deny the content. There has been a wonderful change. There has been a wonderful change, and it was there at the bottom all the time. I do not want you to call the game too quick. I don't want you to call the game too quick. We're believers. It's not in our DNA to give up on folks. We don't give up on people. I say we don't give up on people. And I don't want the enemy to tell you that you wasted your time. It looked like that boy don't know nothing of what you taught. I guess I was just a horrible mama. That's a lie. You may not have done everything right, but you ain't do everything wrong either now. Come on. You didn't do everything wrong. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's there. Life will teach them. Like, see, there was a time in my life, my mama didn't know what she was talking about. My grandparents didn't know what they was talking about. My dad didn't know what they was talking about. Oh, but you know what? Life showed me, oh, they were right on point. They were right on point. I was suppressing the truth. I was hard-headed. He said, but this hurts. Conway, man, this hurts. This hurts. I get it. I get it. But our whole Christian faith is predicated upon the pain of our Christ. It hurt him. It hurt him to know that we were going to, that we were still going to go left when he wanted us to go right. Yeah, it hurt. I'm asking you to do this. I'm asking you to pray. I'm asking you to expect deliverance. Expect God to cause enough turmoil or stirring up or hogs or whatever you got to cause your child to say, what must I do to be saved? Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. And the energy that you're using on kicking yourself, you need to be tapping into prayer. If he did it for the prodigal son, if he did it for Levi, come on, if he did it for Lot, if he did it for Timothy, he can do it for your son. He can do it for your daughter. I pray this blesses you. I need so many parents to pray, to send this. I need you to tag as many people as you can who's struggling, who feels like, you know what? I'm glad everybody else's child is living a successful life. But what about my baby? I know she's 46 years old, but that's still your baby. I get it. People may be thinking that I had some kind of weird life and looking at how she turned out or how he turned out. Look, we ain't got time about what people think. I am going to pray that God stir up what I know is in my child, in my grandchild, in my daughter. I am going to ask God to stir until the transformation happens. And I just believe he can do it. I'm living proof that he can do it. And so many people love me, but my mama had to pray for me. I caused tears. I caused pain. So don't look at the end result of somebody else's child and say, my child can't get there. What? Pray him out. Pray him out. You can't take over his will. No. But let me tell you, God can make it so uncomfortable that they will realize, I don't know everything. Yeah, he can do that. So I want you to share. I want you to process this. I want you to think about this. And when you see that wayward child, when you see that wayward niece or that wayward nephew, put your sermon up and just love them. Put your sermon up. Look here, reeking with weed. Give them a hug. No more sermons. No more. If your sermons was working, they'd be delivered by now. No more sermons. Pray, love. Pray, love. You still got to set boundaries. If you look here, if you got rules, you got to set boundaries. But pray and love. Pray and love. Pray and love. No, I'm not going to give you $100 for you to go and destroy yourself. But pray and love. Pray and love. And watch God use life to stir up the gifts that's lying dormant at the bottom of their souls. You'll get compassion when you remember that you wasn't all what you were supposed to be at that age too. You'll get compassion when you realize that they got a lot more people influencing them than you have influencing you. I hope this touched you. I hope you're blessed by it. Do me a favor and share it. And let's make sure we stand on the porch like the father in the prodigal son and wait on our child to return. God bless you. Have an amazing day. See you Monday.